Again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. And guys, I have a feeling we're going to be sharing a lot of no bullshit takes tonight. I got the drinks. We all got our drinks, and everyone, glad you're here. If you don't have one, go grab a drink, of course. Please drink responsibly. But we are here to talk with you all and hear what you have to say about this last game against the Eagles. And man, this is going to be a fun conversation.
Is it?
John and I did it last night. It was a blast.
I want to hear Jared and David's take.
We had some laughs.
I'm numb to it at this point. They can't hurt me because I'm already dead. That's how we're feeling. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I disappointed in the first half, and by the time we got to the second half, and we were like, we have a chance to tie it up. 4th down and 1. Go for it. Let's do this. And like that play alone just took so much of my soul away from everything that I had, and it went from a possibility of tying it up to down by 2 touchdowns, and we were driving well. And then not only that, but then we didn't even try after that. It just looked like it was like that play, as much as it took out of our souls, I think it took out of the players' souls too, because I think we just looked at it and was like, man, this is rough. So
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. Numb, I guess, is a good word.
Yeah.
I am more numb today than I was yesterday when we did the post-game podcast. So everybody listening, please make sure you listen to the post-game podcast. I had a very heated, I kind of went on a little tirade there. Of course, the topic I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. You can just go listen to my spiel again. I won't go into it in depth again. At least I'll try not to. But yeah, guys, I think
I highly doubt that to be the case, Kevin.
We'll see. I'm going to try. I'm trying to avoid it. We did it last night. If anything, I'll just pull it up and I can replay it so I don't have to say it all again. But okay, big picture, guys. What do you think? So, of course, the game was ugly and everything, but where do the Broncos go from here?
I mean, you finish the season. Obviously, and whatever that comes out to be.
David out here throwing some hot takes with the lofty goal of finishing the season.
Finish the season.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And you're not. I'll tell you this: you're not going to see the coaching staff get fired. I'm pretty sure at this point. You're going to see 1 or 2 more of those Dallas games where they come out and they look really, really good against somebody. Like maybe they'll beat Kansas City one week. Or, maybe they'll demolish the Lions. They'll put up a 50-burger on the Lions or something. But that's it from here. That's, I think, the best you can expect from this team. From here on out, they'll finish with 7 to 9 wins, probably more, 7 to 8 wins. I don't think they'll get to 9. 7 to 8 wins and miss the playoffs, and the coaching staff will get canned. And we'll be looking for a coach this offseason, as well as an owner. So it's going to be, and probably a quarterback too. So it's going to be a season of big changes.
The only thing we won't be looking for is a general manager, I feel like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, he has a 6-year contract, 5 years after this.
That and if there's any W's on this Bronco team right now, it's George Payton.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, Kevin and I were talking about it yesterday. There's literally no one else to put faith in on this owner, this front office, this team. Like, no, it's like you just have to have faith in George Payton because there's no one else.
Well, all the moves he's made so far have been absolute, just great. I mean, his draft class is doing great. Kenny Young coming in, playing great. Well. Weatherly coming in off season, mid season pickups. They're both playing well. I think we have a lot of good to look forward to on that. But I think the biggest part about this whole thing is if we would have lost to the Cowboys, and we were sitting here, we would be just drinking, having a good time, being like, yeah, Broncos suck game. The problem is that we destroyed the Cowboys by the same score that the Eagles beat us by, and I think that's what's really hurting me right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and okay, Jared, let's go back in time to when we were 3-4. If we had said we were going to be 5-5 at the bye, you would probably been pretty excited at that point. But just the way the last two games have gone, it's just like
the problem is the two games should have been flipped. I would have expected to beat Philly and lost to the Cowboys, but we did so well against the Cowboys they got our hopes up and then just squashed on them like a tomato.
Like a tomato.
And I don't think it's just that the games were flipped in our expectations, but that means and that shows how dysfunctional this team is. You can go on the road and play a team that almost everybody fully expects you to lose and absolutely dominate, but then come home where you have a losing record at home for the last couple of years under Fangio. Double-digit losses at home, 2 in the last 2 years, I think it is, something like that. It's like the first time it's ever happened. It's like we're home against a 3-6 team. And so that really shows just how dysfunctional. And then when you look at, you zoom in on some of these specific plays, AKA that 4-1 play, it really highlights everything that's going on with the Broncos, everything that's wrong with the team, from leadership, accountability, effort, all across the board, man.
Yeah. Well, on this comment right here, I mean, you can't blame it on the play calling because we saw one game where we had a new play caller and it was the same offense we've seen all year. So, this goes back to Jared's point. I don't see any firing happening before the end of the season. Maybe once we're mathematically eliminated, as Jared likes to say, maybe at that point they do some weird switching up just for the heck of it. I don't know.
The problem is if you fire someone right now, you're putting a singular blame on the whole thing. You're gonna if the plan is to fire the whole coaching staff, which I think is kind of the thought process, you can't do it mid-season because there's no one else to take over. Normally, it's the single point of failure. Like if you think that Tom McMahon is the reason we're losing all of our games, right? Then you fire Tom McMahon, and that's
8 minutes and 42 seconds, Jared. God damn it.
Put that on the bingo card. Under 10 minutes. But if you're talking about as a culture, as a coaching staff as a whole, and you can't really pinpoint one or the other, it's just like a coaching issue all over. You have to wait till the end of the season because who else is going to step up? I think Munchak might stay. And then who else you got? You have nobody on defense. It's a big hands up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get the fans want to have a little of what they would call accountability. You see that from in the form of firings. I think that would make everybody in Broncos country happier for a minute. But, from the GM standpoint, there's no, like you were saying, Jared, there's no advantage to firing your coaching staff right now, unless they are creating such a toxic locker room environment that your players, are refusing to show up basically to practice, or then, I mean, that's really the only reason to get rid of your coaching staff at this point in the season. We all see those changes coming wholesale, like you said, Jared, but right now, I mean, other than to satisfy angry fans, there's really no good reason to fire the coaches right now.
Yeah, and let's be honest, George Payton's job really isn't on the line. We kind of said that at the beginning of the season. Look, this is like a free year for him to evaluate his players, evaluate his coaching staff, and if they don't perform, he gets to start with a clean slate next year. And
Yeah.
so far, that's the direction we're going, it seems like.
And the other big thing that we talked about too, especially when we talk about the quarterback situation, right? If we do get a clean slate, we not only get a new coaching staff, new offense coordinator, head coach, who can bring in their own / draft their own together new quarterback and start from scratch. And I mean, George Payton got put in the best position by taking over the general manager position of this team.
Well, and I was thinking about this, Jared. He's put in the best position at the same time. It seems like he's on a sinking ship, and he's going to be the only one left at the end of the year.
Oh, he's definitely going to be the only one left, but he gets to start over, and he's
know.
basically the one that gets to make all the decisions going forward.
It's true. He can make any decision he wants, basically, and run this team how he wants.
I would bet money that Tom McMahon's still going to be around, man.
Right.
That guy could survive a nuclear,
All right, Kevin's muted for the rest of
the. Okay, but really quickly, in all seriousness, as much as this sucks, guys, I am thankful that there's still football to talk about. It's going to be a lot rougher in the middle of the offseason when there's not football to talk about. I am thankful for our fans. I am thankful for you guys as a co-host, and we should all be thankful for the DraftKings offers that we're getting as well. So this Thanksgiving, of course, we want to be thankful for family, food, and free bets. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has a Turkey Day no-brainer that you cannot miss. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the Thanksgiving NFL action. Make your first deposit, and you can play free for millions with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Football Contest. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Now, here's what we need you to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's promo code TPPN this Thanksgiving at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years or older in a state that supports sports betting. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, Kevin, I was confused where you were going with that. I was like, is this the Thanksgiving episode? What is this Thanksgiving week? Am I that? Did the Broncos make me that drunk? I blacked out a whole week.
Yeah, I've been blacked out since halftime on Sunday. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out like a good idea fairy right now. Can we just do like popcorn read that and just see how messed up it gets?
I like it.
Sure.
I'm down.
Like popcorn, like when we were kids, like read a little bit and then be like, Popcorn David.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one's gonna know what's going on. It's gonna be all over the place. It'll be great.
I think that's a good idea.
I think like
DraftKings says no. We don't want to sponsor you anymore.
That's it.
Yeah,
the only people who might disapprove are the kind folks at DraftKings. But
hey, I do really quickly before we move on too far. Chris from Germany, thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, thank you to everybody for tuning in. But it's really cool to be international here at Orange Weekly and have fans from everywhere. So, question here.
Also, is real quick. That is a stellar beard right there. That is fantastic.
That is a beard that none of us can ever grow.
Matt would be.
Matt.
It would take a lot of effort.
Matt's been neglecting us for a while.
He has, yeah. Anyhow,
so this is a good conversation, though, Chris. I think this is something that was going to come up regardless, and I think it's good that you asked this because people were asking earlier after the lack of attempt of tackling to save the fumble return for 6 points. A lot of people are asking for him to be benched for Locke. See what Locke's got for the second half of the season. What's your guys' take on this? Because there's another comment down here is do we still ride with Teddy? And ultimately, and before you guys say anything, my biggest thought process here is we all know Fangio's on the hottest seat in the NFL right now, and it's really going to come down to whether or not he trusts his hot seat, his job, to Teddy Bridgewater and what he saw in Teddy Bridgewater. It's going to be up to him totally. If you are Vic Fangio, you're in the hot seat. You just saw the worst effort from a quarterback trying to make a play. What do you do?
So for me, one of the big things that this game really highlighted, and we've known for a while, but this really highlighted it, was lack of accountability on this team. from coaching staff to players, lack of accountability. People can keep making mistakes over and over again, and maybe they get called out in a team meeting or something like that, but that's it, right? I think for Teddy, the captain, the leader of the team, and the guy who coming into the offseason, all we heard about for weeks was about how awesome of a leader he is, the strong leadership skills he brings to this team. For him to go out there and do that, I think that's very worthy of benching, because if I'm Fangio, I want to send a clear message to my team that you will. I don't care if you're the quarterback. I don't care if you're the water boy. You do not show up. You do not give 100% and try. You're going to be benched, because we need players out there in order to, one, save my job as Fangio, two, get to a winning record this season and beat the division, which we're going to have to do in 5 of our 7 games. We're going to need players out there, really feeling the pressure, right? So there needs to be a clear message out there for at least one game. Teddy, that completely agree. You said it. It's a completely unacceptable. I agree. Completely unacceptable. Locke's playing. And that's because of you and your unwillingness to go out there and make something happen. Would that play have saved the game for us? Maybe not, probably not, because they had it on the 50-yard line. It would at least give our defense a chance.
I 100% think it does. I think our defense, I mean, as shitty as they've been playing all like that's the difference between 2 scores and a 1-score game. That's a huge change in momentum. That change in momentum changed the whole game. 100%.
So even stronger reason that he should get benched for at least a game. Now is the real Coach Fangio going to do that? No, he's not. Because, again, he's so stuck in his ways. He feels that it doesn't matter who else is the backup QB, that Bridgewater is his best chance to win, to keep his job. And he is more concerned about that than sending the right message and being the coach that this team needs right now. And so you're not going to see it happen, even though it needs to.
I think David has a hot take. I heard a big sigh from you, David.
That was a big sigh.
You can completely disagree with me if you want.
I think you're probably right. If I'm Fangio, I don't know. To me, just everything we've seen from him says that he is living in a world where he thinks he can turn this around somehow. And maybe that's just the way he has to talk, because otherwise, what are you going to go out there and say? But I think he keeps Teddy in there. First of all, I don't think he likes Drew Lock that much, just as a person. They don't get along.
Are you talking about the happy birthday thing? Because I thought that was funny.
I mean, listen, that in context really wasn't as bad. Good. It wasn't as bad as it seemed like. But yeah, also, I feel like Vic Fangio didn't just forget that it was also Drew Lock's birthday.
It's like, oh yeah, him too.
He might have forgot. He might have also not even thought about Teddy.
He didn't. That's the thing. He somebody said, "Oh, it's Teddy Bridgewater's birthday," and then somebody started asking another question, and they came back and said, "Oh yeah, it's Drew Lock's birthday too." Then he said, "Oh yeah, it is." But I think he knew it in the back of his head and didn't go out of his way to mention it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think they get along. I don't think he's looking for any reasons to do Drew Lock any favors. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So that to me, I think would override. Maybe if Teddy throws in another poor performance where it's no effort, where it's a couple interceptions, where it's just bad. But I think Vic Fangio has seen the bad of Drew Lock too, and now he's seeing the bad of Teddy Bridgewater, and he's saying, I can still work with this, as opposed to the attitude the kid gives me when he's not playing well. So that to me, maybe that's just me trying to read more from behind the scenes than I know, because I don't know any of this for a fact. Right. But that's to me.
Yeah, we're speculating 100%.
Right, but this is to me. Yeah, this is to me why you're probably not going to see Drew Lock on the field after bye week.
I agree. Brian here, bye week, so all will be forgiven. For me, no. And what I want to ask you guys, if you're a player in that locker room and Teddy Bridgewater comes up to you and says, "Hey man, I need to see more from you. I need you to step up." Are you going to laugh at him? I mean, to me, I'd be like, "You're telling me this? You're the one telling me that I need to do better? Really?" And what is it going to take for Teddy Bridgewater to maybe re-cement himself as a leader on the team?
Well, he's got to show up. He's got to show up and make fucking plays.
But how many? I mean, you can do things 100 times correctly. Yeah. But how many times is it going to be instantly like, okay, you had one good game, we're back with you, man?
If we play, if we have a game against the Chargers like we do against Dallas, yes, all will be forgiven immediately, and the team will be, at least the players will be on the same. Well, they should be on the same page and should be all gelling, as Ayla would say. But I don't expect that to happen. So let's be clear about that. What I do expect to happen is another poor performance against the Chargers, another poor performance against the Chiefs. And I think that's probably, if we go 5-7, I think that's when Fangio throws the Hail Mary and maybe makes a change at QB and says, my job is on the line, so why not give it a try? I don't know. That's me, again, totally speculating. But at some point, he's going to have to do that if this offensive performance continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan here did just send us 200 stars. It doesn't show up there, but he did send us 200 stars, so I appreciate it. But he did, thank you very much. It says Locke is gone in free agency, will stay, and FA will. Let's see, Teddy will stay, and we will get a new QB in draft or free agency. What do you think about Teddy staying?
If he's, if you keep him as the backup, he's the best backup quarterback in the league, and it's not that close. But yeah, I really do like that idea. If you draft a first round QB with the idea of starting him sooner rather than later, I know it's not shaping up to be a strong quarterback class this season. That's the hand we've been dealt. We're going over these narratives again of the Broncos passing on a quarterback in the draft because Justin Fields is starting to look really good. Mac Jones landed in the perfect spot for him. And is thriving.
Hold on. Before let's hold on. Let's go back. When you say he's starting to look really good,
okay,
let's pump the brakes a little bit on him looking really good. All right. I don't want you to sit here and pump up Justin Fields like we missed out on the biggest swing of the world.
I'm definitely not. I'm saying he's starting to show some of the reasons why people were excited to draft him anywhere in the first place. But the reality of the situation is, when George Payton decided to keep Vic Fangio for another year, the rookie quarterback fate was sealed. Like, we weren't going to pick a rookie quarterback because they weren't going to start, because they didn't, a defensive-minded head coach isn't going to think that's the guy who gives me the best chance to win this year, which is what I need to do to save my job. George Payton tried to set Vic Fangio up for success this offseason. That's what this last offseason was about. Yep. That's why they would have been so interested in a guy like Aaron Rodgers if he was actually available, because that's a guy who improves your team immediately, at the quarterback position, as opposed to I have to wait maybe a season or two for this guy to develop. Vic Fangio didn't have that kind of timetable this offseason, so that's what we're dealing with. That being said, it does put you in the position, like we were talking about this offseason, of choosing from a lesser crop of quarterbacks and maybe, pulling the trigger quickly on replacing a guy that you draft this season if he's not coming along quickly, because the 2023 class looks better, and so on and so forth. It may be that way for the Broncos trying to get a QB, because the other strategies haven't worked. They haven't found another guy in the draft any other way.
Yeah, I think we're going back to the old Elway playbook in this offseason, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves, obviously. With going with a veteran quarterback that's going to be available. This draft class just doesn't look good.
It's a crapshoot.
We'll get to that later. But back to your point, David, it also speaks to Peyton. Like, why is he going to go draft a quarterback with this coaching staff when, if they don't work out, they're gone this year? Now he's got this second-year quarterback and a new coaching staff that maybe they don't gel, and then maybe they're in the same position this year where this new coaching staff really wants a different quarterback, and it's just a mess. So it goes back to our point that George Payton's kind of set himself up from a GM's perspective to be able to wash his hands clean moving forward. And the thing is, we're having these conversations. We're talking about the offseason, and we're 5-5. This is the best record we've had under Fangio at this point in the season. And it just feels like we are so behind the 8 ball and so out of a playoff push.
Well, and I think it does speak to the coaching, a damning word about the coaching staff, that with this talent on the roster and being 5-5, we're still talking about the team this way.
Yeah.
It's not so much that we're 5-5. It's the teams we're losing to and how unimpressive we are week to week. And I think that there's been literally one game. I mean, even the Washington game, let's be honest, didn't look impressive. It wasn't like we walked out of that game being like, Broncos are back, baby, you know? And the Dallas game was the only one.
After that game.
The Dallas game was literally the only game all season. The first 3 games against all those crappy teams, right? That's one thing. But the Dallas game was the only one that we came out of being like, oh my goodness, like we're finally seeing what we're capable of, and we can do this. And then we just go like, so we're talking one game, maybe 2 or 3 if you're talking about the first 3 games, that we really were impressed with what we saw. And the rest of them were like, even the two of those wins, we were kind of just like, yeah, I mean, we won, but did we really do anything that shows us we're a top team?
And it's so interesting how that narrative can go from, when you beat Dallas the way that we did, that narrative of, oh man, that Washington win was ugly, but you won, I guess, to, hey, 2-game win streak, and the sky's the limit if you turn it into a 3-game win streak. You suddenly forget the way that you won that first game.
And that's what the Broncos do to you, David.
Yeah.
They send you on a roller coaster ride. Because last week we were all excited about this team. We're like, hey, did we find... And like we said yesterday, or in the post-game podcast, Kevin, we were cautiously optimistic because we know the Broncos have done this. Fool me once, shame on you. But we were cautiously optimistic knowing that we could have the performance that we did against the Eagles. Like, were any of you surprised the way that we played against the Eagles? Sadly, I was not.
No, it was absolutely, more of the same that we've seen at times in almost every game, in basically every game but the Dallas game, even games that we've won before. The team played the same way they've played all season, just inefficient, unable to get out of their own way on offense and on defense. And totally familiar.
It just felt again that we were playing down to our competition because I really think we're a very good team. We just can't capitalize on it. And we were still in that game up until that fumble. It was a 1-score game. We were driving like we very could have easily, if we go out and score even a field goal on that drive, it's a totally different conversation. And then that one play totally shifted the whole game. And like even at that point, though, down by 7, it did not feel like it felt like we should be easily winning that game at that point. And we haven't been.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, the defense is really what, and that's the other thing we talk about this back and forth. What was the most disappointing part about that? Like, our defensive run game was just not there. And I think that was the most disappointing about. Like, normally our defense is the strength. We have this defense coach, and I get it. We have so many injuries on the defensive line and the linebacking position. We have a lot of injuries, and we can sit here and blame that all day. But there's also got to be a level of game plan there, and our head coach is our defensive mastermind, and it's tough. It's tough to watch that. It's just difficult to watch the whole thing. And there's never, like you said, after that fumble, I, as a fan, obviously got like everything taken out of me. Like just sitting on the couch, like what just happened? We were supposed to tie this game. I was so excited 2 seconds ago. And
it just didn't feel real. It did not feel real.
Yeah, but as a fan, we're allowed to do that because that's what we're allowed to do, sitting on the couch eating chips. As a player, you're not allowed to do that.
Nope.
And that's what it looked like, right? It looked like the whole sideline just went like, that's it. Like, all right, well, they got the fumble return for the touchdown, so that's game over, guys.
Exactly.
That's
2 touchdowns down. You can come back with that with a whole fourth quarter, and it
absolutely
just felt like there was no way that was going to happen.
Absolutely. We weren't really taking a lot of big shots. That's the other thing. We never really took a big shot downfield, which I think was
one, and it was completely overthrown.
Yeah.
So Sutton or Patrick, I think it was Sutton.
Yeah, the heart, the locker room, the heart, everything. It's just not there, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But okay, Jared, I know we're gonna harp on this play way too. Well, maybe not too much. But
the 4th and 1 play.
Coach Pee Wee football or high school football. Do you not tell your players to play to the whistle? Because sure, I thought watching that game that he was down. Like it certainly looked like the play was over. It seemed like there was not a fumble on that drive, and for that to be an excuse out of the quarterback's mouth, why he wasn't in the right mindset and that kind of stuff, like.
So I didn't see the interview.
Like, what the hell?
I didn't see the interview. What did he say? I got the notification and I didn't click on it.
And he did blame himself. Like he wasn't shying away from that. But that's what Teddy does, right? He is very good after the fact of, taking on the blame and trying to be that leadership, not trying to shy away from it. But We're just not seeing it on the field, which is the bigger problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the playing to the whistle. We'll get back to that after we remind me because we'll talk about him. Okay, so playing to the whistle is definitely absolutely important, and I get it. There's certain times
you don't have to coach that in the NFL. That is just
no, and I get it. You know, he has the injuries, and everybody keeps saying like, man, this is ridiculous.
I think that's a BS excuse, and he didn't try to play that as an excuse.
He didn't even try, and literally he didn't even need to make the tackle. All he needed to do was slow the guy down. There was people chasing.
Yeah,
and I don't know if he just didn't see it or if there was a level in his head where he was like, oh, someone else will get him. But like all he had to do was step one step to the side and just kind of be there, and somebody would have caught up with him and he would have tackled him on the 50-yard line, and there'd be no problem.
Yeah. His excuses were kind of like what you hear from or what you expect from punters and kickers when they're the last line of defense. They're just trying to slow him down. They're just trying to get in the way, kind of make him have to start making moves.
But he didn't slow him.
At a certain point, when you're that close to the dude, you got to just attempt to tackle and slow him down enough for the other people to get him. And he did what
the three of us know in the military is an about face.
Yeah.
He rolled out.
It's like he thought he had done enough and the play was over before anyone even touched. I don't know what he was thinking at the time. But
either way, everyone's interpreting it the same way. And again, it just goes back to how many other quarterbacks out there right now would have done what Teddy did?
I don't know. Probably about half of them.
You really think so?
Yeah.
You really think half the quarterbacks in the NFL would
David over here.
This situation, this game, nah.
I mean, okay. The bet
Peyton Manning would have gotten in on that.
Probably, yeah. But Tom Brady definitely wouldn't have. I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater's Tom Brady. I'm not saying.
Sorry. Cam Newton wouldn't either. We've seen that.
I was gonna say.
He is back. I keep forgetting he's back. You're right. Okay.
I feel like there's in that moment more quarterbacks than you would think would make that business decision. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do.
But there's a level of competitive spirit that we need on offense. And he showed that he just showed that he doesn't have it. There's a level of competitive spirit we need on the offense to be able to have that competitive spirit to be better than the other team. Like that's the basis of football is be better than the other team, and he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it, and he showed it on that play.
Yeah, I really don't think. I really think he just had a mind fuck. I don't know what he was thinking on that play because I don't think he was trying to avoid the tackle. I just think he was thinking too much about it in my mind. He was his explanation just makes no sense. But he's still right. He's literally shoulder to shoulder with the guy, and he just stops. I've never seen that before in football. I don't understand.
Have you ever gone to sit down on a bus and there's two seats next to each other and there's you and another person, just one other person, and you're both there's room for both of us to sit, but neither of you sit down because you're just I don't know who goes for, and maybe that's just what happened to Teddy in that moment.
But if that's the case,
about his bus ride,
why didn't he say that? Why is he saying?
What can you say?
I wanted the guy inside so that somebody else would get him.
What do you say in that moment? I just froze. One thing sounds.
I'd have more respect for him now. I'd be like, well, at least you admit it.
It feels to me like at that point, one thing is just as bad as the other thing. So you might as well say something that sounds football-y.
Football-y.
Yeah, football-y. That's
what I try to do every week here on the show.
That's all
I try
we're
to sound
like
I know football.
Yeah, we're trying to sound football-y. And Marcus, it's a fair question. It's hard to remember that these stars play in Denver, and there's incredible players here. It's like we said, it's coming down to a lot of things. It's coaching, it's quarterback play, it's just the lack of gel, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, why are you going to do
That's
this?
not me.
What do you need?
Here we go.
We're only supposed to do this, but good plays.
They called it out.
Yep.
So, I mean, he knew he had the option. I mean, he got to the point where he was in the backfield, further back from where he was originally started.
Yep.
Jared, reset your mic.
Yep.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jared.
All kinds of things going on right now. It's all being weird.
Jared had to break our hearts by watching that again, and now he's paying the consequences from the.
Now even his
the
computer is
technical
like,
guy.
I don't want to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. Yeah,
Jared's computer could not handle Teddy's level of effort on that.
and we just lost Chris from Germany. Thanks a lot, Jared. That's good.
Yeah, Germany is now gone because of that. Kevin, we only show replays of good plays that we're excited
Why do you
about.
keep thinking I
Yeah,
did it?
Kevin.
Why
Cross
do you
that whole
keep thinking
country
I
off
pulled
the
that up?
Yeah, it was definitely Jared. That's why his mic went bad afterwards. He lost his connection. Yeah.
For me, it says
So here's a good question. Look, we have so much talent on the offense that we're not using. Like, it just seems like we're just not taking advantage of the talent that we have.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, I get there's
Wow,
a
we haven't
level
heard
of
that
like,
this season, Jared.
I
Way
know,
to be
but there's
original.
I get that there's a level of like blaming it on the coaching staff and the offensive play call, but we also got to understand that there's a level of like, there's somebody has to get him the ball.
Yeah, really. And
True.
yeah.
It's true. And I will point out, we've been calling all year for tight ends to get involved in this offense, and they were the vast majority of our receiving yards this week. So it's like what? We either get Albert O and Jerry Jeudy and no Cortland Sutton, no Tim Patrick, no Noah Fant and Albert O. I mean, Jerry Jeudy had an okay game, 6 receptions. He led us in receptions, but where is Tim Patrick? Where is Cortland Sutton in this game?
It's either all or nothing. It's either
They
one
weren't
or the other.
targeted.
I know they really weren't. I mean, Tim Patrick was targeted 6 times, and he caught half of them for 14 yards, a whopping 14 yards.
Yeah, but how many of those were catchable? I guess is the real like how many of them were?
Yeah.
Because he's one of the best with like if it's catchable, he's catching the ball.
I can't remember a ton of drops in this game. It was when Teddy's off, he's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
There
other
was
thing
some
too,
drops.
why are we like the best team at getting to like 4th and short, 4th and 2, 4th and 3? Why
We've been
when it's
doing
like
it-
3rd and 6, 3rd and 8? Are we getting these 5-yard passes? Like that pisses me off more than freaking anything that we do.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, and it's why we were 1 for 11 on 3rd down.
Yeah, and it's been such a theme this season. It's a throw short of the sticks mentality. That's just
Make the player like force a missed tackle to get the first down. Like, how about we just go 2 more yards farther down the field before we throw the pass?
Whew. Well, I mean, let's pivot ahead maybe.
Got me worked up. I
Yeah.
blame Kevin.
Kevin's problem. Yeah, Kevin's fault.
That's fair.
Anyway, so we're looking ahead at the Chargers. It's bye week for us. We've got no game this week, obviously, because that's what a bye week means. You know what I haven't heard anything about is Bradley Chubb's recovery. And that's starting to make me a little bit nervous because, bye week I know that was kind of the early estimate of the time frame when he could come back. I don't know if he's going to be ready or not. The pass rush could certainly use him at full strength. But what do you guys think? Do you think that if he is able to come back, he adds a lot to this defense?
A lot.
Hurt,
I mean,
right? You can't hurt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to fix? I mean, now are we going to face another team like the Ravens and the Eagles, where very mobile quarterback, great running game? I mean, Pat Mahomes and stuff. Is him coming back going to fix that? No. It might make it better, but it's not going to fix it. I mean, I wish I could sit here and be like, when he comes back, it's going to be fantastic. But
And that's my thing. It seems like when we face like truly like not just mobile quarterbacks, but like almost run first quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, like Lamar Jackson, we just don't know how to game plan against that. And I don't know if it's old school mentality like we did, and this is new school offense that we just can't get it right. But Lamar Jackson, we held him to like very minimal rushing yards, yet he threw for over 300 passing yards, and didn't really matter that he didn't run the ball. And Jalen Hurts, we kind of did the opposite this week, and it's not like Hurts was a fantastic, but look, they rushed for over 200 yards and a team average of 5.4 yards a carry, which is fine. And their 2 top rushers were closer to 7 yards a carry. So I don't know. We just can't game plan for this type of offense, it seems like.
Yeah.
That interior defensive line is struggling a little bit. And I think that's really what it comes down
to.
to.
That against Dallas, the number 1 rushing team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but against against two teams that have backup, like against Washington, they were getting destroyed on the run.
Okay, but what happened? Why did we show up against Dallas but not this week?
I don't know. Maybe Dallas just sucks. Maybe Dallas. Maybe, and I know this is hard as Bronco fans to sit here and think about this, but maybe it wasn't the fact that Broncos played well, but that Dallas just didn't show up.
Yeah. And we have seen that a lot this season. I feel like this season's all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you just saw, didn't Washington just beat Tampa Bay? Wasn't it?
They did. Yeah, it's been a weird season.
Yeah.
It's one reason. Like the only time I'm going to bet this season for the rest of the year is the week after the Broncos demolish somebody, because that's the week I'll know they're not gonna. They're going down. That's
they're gonna lose.
Time.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's it. No more, because this is a weird season.
Yeah. As far as Chubb goes, though, I think he'd be better used if we weren't always in a 3rd and 2 situation, 3rd and 1 situation. Well, if we're in absolutely need to pass, we know they're passing the ball situation. Yeah, absolutely. Chubb's going to be there, and I think that's where he really thrives, just like Von Miller did in that pass rush. And the run defense,
every good pass rusher does though, right?
Yeah, but in the run defense though, is he like, you know? And I'll sit here and say it. I miss Von Miller a little bit because he was very controlled in the run defense. He knew his gap, he knew what his responsibility was, and he knew where he needed to be. Is Chubb going to be that guy when he gets back? I hope so. I really do. But I think that, again, in the pass rush, we're going to miss him. In the run defense, which is where we're struggling right now, I'm not 100% sure.
But
they only had two receptions, like 4 or 5 receptions to receivers at Philly, and 2 of them were touchdowns to the rookie.
Yeah.
He sat on my bench. I thought, oh yeah, the Broncos defense will shut him down.
Yeah.
Luckily,
well, he's the only one that got you points for that offense as far as receivers go.
Yeah.
To me, that seems more of an anomaly what Devonta Smith did with those 2 touchdowns. Like, that was good defense. I'm sorry, Pat Surtain. You didn't think that was good defense on that first TD throw? Like,
it was good defense. Like,
he was there. Like,
yeah,
he even had it. Like, that's just
dude
a good play.
Dude just made a play. Yeah, dude.
Rookie on rookie. That was just a good play. Like,
so I need
Pat a little bit there, but
I need to pause the conversation here. I think we have a new name for the podcast.
The Stud Podcast?
The Stud Podcast. It wouldn't make sense when Ayla's on, though.
Much better.
Perfect. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out the fact that the name Bot is in there.
I don't care. Her
name is literally a bot.
I was trying to compliment you guys, okay? Come on.
Well,
you're all studs.
Kevin, if it come from you, I would appreciate it. If it come from someone with a bot in the name with a picture like that, I'm just going to throw that at you.
Oh, she's not a bot. Ashley Abbott.
See, now you guys are causing us to lose fans, okay? Here she comes on complimenting us.
Right, well,
we're down on ourselves because of this Broncos game. We're all sad. She tries to cheer us up, and you guys scare her away.
Kevin, I'm not down on myself. I told you. They can't hurt me. I'm already dead.
Thank you, Ashley.
That was his first statement of the show. That was the first statement of the show. You can't hurt me. I'm already dead.
I'm already dead.
No, please stay, Ashley. Anyway. Oh, geez.
Yeah, so that play, I think that play against the first touchdown, I think Pat Surtain had great coverage. It was just a great play with a wide receiver. Like, that's the kind of football I like to watch. Even if they score against us, it was just a great play. You can't be mad at the catch. You can't be mad at him getting in bounds, which I thought was amazing. Great coverage, hard to stop. So, yeah, but overall, our defense, I think it was the run game. It was the run game that really ruined our defense for that game.
Going into that game, we knew it was going to be their run game. Like, we didn't even force them to make Jalen Hurts make plays with his arm. Like, he only threw it 3 times in the second half.
Yeah,
defensive guru.
Oh, and
that's our coach.
That's it. That's it. It's a willingness of offenses against our defense to play to the weakness of our defense, which right now is their rush defense. Dallas game, whatever you want to call that, aberration, fluke. Otherwise, our rush defense has not been good against Washington, against Cleveland, and now against the Eagles. And so if you're an offensive coordinator, it's not like our offensive coordinator where he says, well, we're picking up 4.5, 5 yards to carry, but let's throw 40 times this game. they're willing.
178 passing yards.
Yeah, and they're willing to adjust to those weaknesses against our defense and run the ball, and it's working. And the Chargers they have not been the big play offense this season that we really thought they might turn into with Justin Herbert, with those outside receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But they may not have to be if they haven't been the most effective rushing offense. But if they get Austin Eckler going early against this Denver defense, it might just be more of the same all day long.
Yeah.
We saw the fact that we're home.
The Browns
I don't trust our home field
and Chase freaking Keenum beating us.
Right.
On the ground, mostly.
Still.
Well, it just seems like we're so inconsistent. Yeah. Like they tried to get Ezekiel Elliott running against us, and it didn't work. So they end up going to the air, and we end up doing very well. For some reason, we just can't be consistent on that. I just don't understand why. And again, this goes back to the coaching thing, and we're going to end up having to recycle what we talked about earlier. Rewind this podcast rewind the show about 30 minutes, and we'll restart this conversation. But that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
It's just a circular thing. Like we are so inconsistent. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think of, there's some comments earlier on that says, still people wanting coaching staff to get fired in the season. I mean, I just don't see it happening. There's no one to replace him with. I think we even touched on it maybe even earlier too, now that I'm thinking about it. But guys, I just don't know. Like, this is going to be this season could go one of two ways. Either we're going to dominate the AFC West, because we're the underdogs in all these games now. And they're going to be like, no, but just like the Cowboys game, like, you shouldn't win. There's no way you should win. And then we go out there and like, watch us win. Or what we saw against the Eagles. And that's kind of what we're going to go out and do. I don't know,
what
man.
position you're talking from here, Kev. Are you talking from the players and the coaching staff? Or are you talking from the fan perspective?
The fan, like us fans.
There's
like
a reason that Kevin is on the post-game podcast.
Ah, yes.
And this is the reason that Kevin is not on the pre-game podcast. Yeah. Wow.
Can we not do this?
This is kind of what I'm getting at. One game, maybe 2 games, 2 wins.
5 of our 7 games are against the AFC West. What has Vic Fangio done really well in his career? It has not been against the AFC West.
Lose to the AFC West.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have zero hope for the rest of the season. And you know what? I am. God.
You're about to make a sweeping declaration. What was it?
Go ahead.
It is the Bronco fan in me that is saying 5-5. There is still hope, right? This season is not lost.
It's lost.
There's 2 weeks for us to get our shit together. There is a possibility. Do I think that's going to happen? In my mind, no. In my heart, there's hope.
You've got to take the hope that's in your heart.
But at the same time, I kind of want to take the hope out because that's what I did against the Cowboys, and that was the best game I've watched in 5 years. So
that's what makes it more fun. You've got to take the hope out behind the woodshed and give it the Lassie treatment.
Somebody had tweeted out, I think Sunday night.
Not Lassie.
I wish I could give up on the Broncos this season as easily as Teddy gave up on that tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that too. I can't. John, just like you, man, the fan in me says, you know what? I'm going to be there at the games. I'm going to be cheering for him.
I will be at the next. I will be at the Chargers game with you, Kevin.
Yep. I'm not going to be one of those no-shows.
I'm going to have a massive tailgate. Apparently,
I'm ride or die, guys. I hit die. That's
yep.
I got to die, and that's where we are now.
I don't know what happened to my calculator, but I'm just going to use my phone. So
What's our percentage? What's our percentage of making the playoffs? Is it 0?
Jared's not actually doing anything on his
Yes,
phone.
He is.
I'm telling you, that's a freaking candy bar.
That's a candy bar. Jared goes to his wife, why doesn't my phone work?
I do know that we are not mathematically eliminated. Not by any way, shape, or form, especially in the AFC West. Yes, John.
Oh, no, I was saying we only fell 1 spot from a week ago as far as positioning for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
11th to 12th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mathematically, we're super in it because
we're super in it, and not only that, but it's all AFC West games. Moving on from here, if we can decide to turn it around at the David, don't be negative. I'm trying to be positive, David. Just let me be positive.
For whatever reason, the Broncos respond to negative energy. It seems like.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
I like where David's coming from. Actually,
I just don't want you guys to get hurt again. It hurts me.
You know what?
To see it with
David,
you guys.
David, we're numb. We talked about this.
No,
I don't know
we're
who
on
you
the
are
same
now.
page as you. No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not.
Okay. All
We're
right.
not.
All right. Okay.
No, we don't. I like I said, I don't expect anything. I just in my heart, I hope
Oh,
for something.
see that
If.
hope? I feel like that hope is gonna cheat you.
Still think for you.
Yeah, it's gonna
Still
be
can't handle that.
no, because in your heart of hearts, it's gonna be like waking up on Christmas morning and knowing I didn't get the PlayStation 2. I mean, this is when you're a kid, right? But just that,
Or this year. Yeah.
right? Or this year,
You got the Sega Dreamcast.
still didn't get that PlayStation 2. But in the back of your mind, you think maybe there's the tiniest chance, and then it's just not there. Just you said to yourself you knew it wasn't going to happen, but the pain lasts, and I don't want that for you guys. I want you to just enjoy the good moments and not feel the bad moments at all.
Hey, David, do you want to take a picture of this? Because this may have been the first time somebody has ever said this.
This literally happens every show. You guys just never highlight it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the rest of us are just trying to be optimists here, and like we love 5-5. That last game was rough. That last game was the only
game out of the playoffs. Like it does not feel that way at all. It feels like we're 2-8.
It does.
We would be ecstatic right now if we had lost to the Cowboys like we were supposed to, and beaten the Eagles like we were supposed to, sitting at 5-5 going this bye week. We'd be sitting here saying, "Okay, we have a chance. Here we go." Boom, right there. I want some of what you have.
Yeah, David's going all philosophical on us. He's drinking something special.
This is Lafroig. It's very smoky, very peaty Scotch. I'm not sure it's not the taste of everybody, but I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Yep.
I don't know. I want us to come out of this bye week a different team, but with a little bit of all the health issues, all the everything else. I don't want to be. I don't want to be negative. I want to come out, and I think we can win a couple of these divisional games for sure. Whether or not we win all of them, if we go every other game playing well and every other game playing okay, we still might be able to win and go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or are we saying that we're going bad, good, bad, good? Is that kind of how we're playing right now?
Now, here, let's imagine, because we're nearing the end of the show. Let's imagine we get in the playoffs. That means Fangio and company probably coming back next year.
Yeah.
What would you guys rather have? Fangio back next year with us going to the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Or what would you rather say?
100%.
Okay.
Because if Fangio comes back and we make it to the play, that means we played well against the AFC West, and that is the biggest determining factor of if you're going to be competitive in the future, right? You have to play well against your division. I'm telling you, it is make or break for these guys in our division, which I honestly wouldn't want it any other way with his current coaching staff. And if the past tells us anything, they're going to lose.
Right.
Most of these games.
I'll tell you what, though, if this happens, if we beat the Chargers and the Chiefs and lose to the Lions, I don't care if we make the playoffs. You got to get rid of everybody.
Yeah,
get rid of the whole thing.
Especially since Pittsburgh tied them, like you can't be the other one in those, like the 1-15-1. You can't be that one.
They couldn't even beat a Roethlisberger-less, Steelers team, but they, beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
Again, if we make going back to John's point, if we make the playoffs right now, if we end up the season and we make the playoffs, that means we got second place in the AFC West this year. I would absolutely rather have that than tank / go where we're going right now and finish the season the way that we have been and have to start over from scratch. I would love just to see the end. I want to see the playoffs. I'm tired. It's been 6 years. I'm ready for it.
We've never done a playoff episode here at Orange Weekly. Not a Broncos.
No, we
playoff
started this after Super Bowl 50.
Bring up our highlight, Kevin.
I'm just saying, I'm excited. I would like to experience that where we're like, hey, we have one more week of like legit things to talk about.
How many seasons do we go as Orange Weekly before we start thinking it's our fault?
Let's hit the 10-year mark.
This is my first season, so I'm clear.
Oh yeah,
let's hit the 10-year mark. If we still have
like
made a
10-year mark, if we go 10 years without making the playoffs, we cut it off, and then they make the playoffs next year. I'm just gonna
Orange Weekly will retire. Sorry, everyone. If we take
we're
a
number 2/3, we're tied for 3. Robert, we are tied for this. As far as longest playoff droughts, Broncos are in the top 3 there. So it's definitely your guys' fault. I just came on here to show off my glow and my hair and my Von Miller jersey.
Yeah. Let's get to 10 years. So, give the new coaching staff a shot and everything and a rebuild.
10 years. That's the cutoff point.
Yeah.
That's our cutoff point.
Or
That's the point where we sit here and as Orange Weekly and be like, we're just gonna have a really somber episode where it's just like, Broncos country, we are sorry. This is our fault. And we severely apologize for everything that we brought to Broncos country.
We appreciate your support, but we will be disbanding. And then watch the Broncos make the playoffs every year after that.
And then we'll be back the next season.
Yeah, and then we go back after this next Super Bowl and just do it again.
Yep.
Do it again.
Play it back.
The jinx has returned.
The jinx has returned.
Okay, but the thing with this team, because we're bringing this up about, like, if we beat the Chiefs, we beat the Chargers, but we lose to the Lions, we give up. Like, sadly, that wouldn't blow my mind. Like, I could see that with this team.
Guys, this is what I'm telling you right now. I'm already emotionally prepared for us to lose to the Lions. Like, I'm already ready for that.
Are you emotionally prepared to beat a good team and then lose to the worst team?
So I'm ready to beat the Chiefs by 3 touchdowns and then lose to the Lions. Like,
calls it here first. David on the Bourbon Broncos No BS. We're beating the Chiefs by 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, 3 tutties. That's
Okay.
right.
Wait, which time?
Whichever time.
Oh,
in
whichever
Arrowhead.
time. In Arrowhead.
Yeah, we're going to beat them by 3 touchdowns in Arrowhead and lose to the Lions.
Okay.
Here's another hypothetical. Let's say we win out, except we have 1 loss, and it's to the Lions.
Yeah, sure. Great.
No, I'm going back to my optimism at that point.
Nope, I'm sticking to my guns. Screw everything. We're done as a team. No, I don't know. Any given day in the NFL, right? I just
Well, that's how I feel about the Dallas win. Like,
if we lose to the Lions and make the playoffs.
Okay.
again, that means we did really well against the AFC West. Or
Right. Yeah.
I don't think there's a scenario where we only win like 2 more games and
Right.
and make the playoffs with that means every other team beat us. Like, there's just
Rob, this is a good point. I don't think every time I say like all the sweeping declarations and things that you're saying, I should start writing these down.
You should.
Because there's some hot takes.
Yeah, all of them are within the realm of possibility.
I will write this one down because I'll never forget it if you're still watching. David's hot take of the day is that the Broncos will finish the season.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the hot take of the beginning.
Well, I haven't heard anybody try to rebut that. So
That's not a hot take though. That's just a take.
is it? No, now it's just a take. So we're now we're downgrading it. First it was a hot take. Now it's just a take.
We haven't even talked about this. How we're doing a backstage show, but this leads into that. What do you define a hot take as, Kevin?
Something that is controversial.
Well, that was really exciting, and thank you for your comment.
But that wasn't a hot take. That was just that's what most people agree on.
One time I put my metal pan into the oven because it's, all metal. And when I pulled it out, I put it on the stovetop, and then I forgot that it had just been in the oven, and I grabbed the handle, and it was very hot. That was a hot
Was
take.
the oven on when you put it in the oven?
Oh, yes,
Because
yes, it was.
You could just, if you put it in the oven, it was off, you took it out.
All right, John. So we're gonna finish the rest of this show. If you want to see some of the backstage, they are getting way off topic.
Working with, was it like deep dish? What did we work with there?
Yeah. Oh, you're interested too now? Okay. Well, I'll finish the show.
Well,
myself.
yeah, we're leading into the other shows. So.
If you want to join for the Orange Weekly backstage, this is definitely a little bit of an intro to that. Yeah. So last minute, let's go around the room. Let's talk about last minute thoughts on obviously going to a bye week. So we don't really have next week. If you join us next week for Bourbon Broncos No BS, we'll talk about the upcoming game. But going into a bye week, what are the things that we're thinking about going into the bye week and not having Broncos football this weekend? Let's go around the room. Kev, you want to start?
Yeah, so bye weeks always suck because I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, it's Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, I should be wearing my jersey, or maybe I am wearing my jersey, but there's no real reason to. Like, it's kind of weird. But I think this team needs it. What I'm really hoping for is all the shit that Broncos country is throwing at this team right now. Hopefully they come back and they say, we need to prove ourselves again, and go out there and show that what happened was, the fans deserve better. They are better, and go out there and make something happen. So, take some break, get healthy, come back, refocused, re-energized, and be ready to step up, because like we're saying, even though it doesn't really feel like it, we're not out of this race. We're 5-5, 1 game behind on the AFC West there. Hopefully we get some, good games that go in our favor, with, Chargers losing, Chiefs losing, Raiders losing this weekend or something. But, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do, because again, this is another defining moment for this team. With all of the firestorm that's coming their way, how do they handle that? Do they go, yeah, you're right, we suck, and then before you know it, we have 20,000 no-shows at Mile High? Or do they say, no, that is, you're right, completely unacceptable, we're going to change this, and watch us go do it? So
yeah, that's all they can do. They can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are they going to be the team that played Dallas, or are they going to be the team that played the Eagles? Wouldn't be surprised.
Probably both at times.
I will say I'll be more surprised if it's more the team that played Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
What we've seen out of 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I hope it is. Like, I'm still a Bronco fan. I still have hope for this team until we are eliminated. But I guess this week, since the Broncos aren't playing, all I can hope for is that, now we're up to 32 point something.
Put it down.
Thank you, Jared.
2009-34.
We're up to almost 3,000. Okay.
Yeah, almost 3,000.
I can work with those odds.
Yards. I assume yards. That's
No, but for this week, I can only hope that the Chiefs regress a little bit against the way they look against the Raiders. I do not want them to start getting mojo again, because then we have to, not only because they're in our division and we have to compete against them, but we have to play them twice. And if they're on if they are the Chiefs that we all thought they were to start the season, it's not going to look good for really for the rest of the AFC. So Broncos, get healthy. Chiefs suck.
Couldn't have put it any better myself.
That's what my calculation turned out to, apparently, according to Richie.
Yeah, I stand by what I said. I like those.
Those odds. 2,934 to 1 odds.
Is there anywhere I can get those odds, and put money on it? Because I have $1 to spare.
Yeah, you put $1 on that, and it's whatever.
Hell, I have $10 to spare on that bet. So, yeah, Broncos.
That's what the 1% feels like, David.
Exactly. Just be happy with the good moments and the bad moments, and there's going to be a lot of them. Just let them bounce off of you, because it's going to hurt way less. That's all I have to say.
It also helps making things hurt less. Alcohol.
Yeah, enjoy that responsibly if you're doing that this bye week, though.
Yes,
I'm going to be doing some yard work this bye week. It's going to be a whole thing.
Luckily for all of us, we don't need to drink as much this weekend, because there's no Broncos game to be able to drown away the whatever is going on with whatever we have. So my last minute thoughts.
I developed a habit this year when it comes to drinking and the Broncos.
I literally won't know what to do with myself on Sunday. I'm not gonna lie.
Spend time with your friends and loved ones.
David, you act like I have friends. That's backstage stuff. So we're gonna. So last minute thoughts about this Broncos team. I hate that we're so inconsistent. I think that's my worst. That's the worst part about this whole thing. We're just so inconsistent, and sometimes we look like amazing, an amazing team that's going to be out there, and if we can continue this, we're going to be great. And then sometimes we look like we wouldn't be able to beat the Lions, which, again, I'm kind of nervous for this Lions game, guys. I know it's in the future, but
if we're what we think we are, then we're all numb at that point.
Let go.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I just I I'm numb to the fact that like each and every week we're gonna get a different Broncos team, and I just absolutely hate that. I'd love to go back to just having a consistent team who, even if I would rather like have one bad game, you know, like the Cowboys for example, they have had a great season so far. They've had one bad game. I would rather that than this back and forth situation that we have going on right now. It's just the worst.
So you just wish we were better, is what you're saying.
I just wish we were better. I was trying not to say it out loud.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
be better. Do better.
Just do better than what you're doing right now. It's really bad, and you should be better, but you aren't better at the moment. Do better. You're better.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Okay, everyone, we're going to be over on our YouTube page here in just a minute or so. The YouTube link was posted in the chat just a second ago. You can just go to youtube.com and search for Orange Weekly, Broncos Orange Weekly. Don't find like the Tennessee, whatever Orange Weekly. It's weird. Yeah. So if anything, make sure you go subscribe. We're like 24 people away from hitting 100, in which case we can then rename our URL. It makes life a whole lot easier in terms of telling you all where to go. But we will be over there in just a few minutes. But guys, thanks for everything. To our viewers, thanks for everything. Enjoy the bye week, enjoy the downtime as much as you can. But as always,
go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, do what I like, yeah, do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.